Hello.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Web3nity. We right now broadcasting from Dubai, and today our guest is gonna be Jack, the founder of XEN, the Googler, and just a cool person. I really waited for this interview since the XEN was launching, so I'm really happy to talk to you today, Jack. I have a lot of questions already for you because since already been 2 months from the launching, right? 2 months, 1 month, 2 months.
Very good to meet you.
Oh,
Dubai. Dubai is so far away from Hawaii. What time is it where you are?
oh my God! Right now it's almost 12 p.m. I mean,
12
okay,
p.m.
almost 12 p.m. It's all 10, 11 o'clock. So
Yeah.
I'm
It's
really
it's
sleepy
not
right.
it's 9 a.m. It's 9 a.m. in Hawaii. So it's we're on the opposite sides of the planet, which
Yeah,
is
but
which is
that's
so
really
cool.
cool. Like Xenos United.
Yes. Yes. Zen unites all people and brings people together, which is great.
So how do you correctly spell this? Xen or Zen? Because I always say Xen.
I know people say it Xen, but in English, X is used as a Z, a letter.
Okay.
So Zen is in English, but I have heard Xen uh, to be called. It was called in Russian, or like somebody who is Russian speaking will call it Xen. And I think
Ukrainian speaking, I'm sorry.
Ukrainian. All
Right
right,
now
all
it's
right.
a very big mistake.
Well, you know the copy machine Xerox with an X,
Yeah.
Xerox, Xerox. I think
Uh-huh.
in Ukraine or that part of the world they call it Xerox, right? Xerox. But we
Ah,
call it
yeah, we call it Xerox.
we
It's
call it
not?
Xerox. We call it Xerox.
Okay, now I got. All
Yeah.
the
So
time.
Xerox is I guess the name of the company, right? So, but Xerox became the de facto name for copying things. So
Okay. I have a
yeah.
lot of questions about Zen. But first of all, I met you on the party in California when I was traveling there when I was in a Draper University. And I found you a really interesting person since you went to the Google, you did a lot of accomplishment. You were like literally first people in the Google. It's very exciting story. I think we can talk about this in another interview about Google, about your thoughts, about your life. But then you enter the crypto. I want to know how from Google, totally centralized thing, you enter the totally decentralized thing. I mean, now it's not. I cannot call it decentralized whole, but that time probably.
Yeah, so it's actually at Google I learned about Bitcoin. So in 2010, I was having lunch with my former Google friends, or I mean, they were still my friends, but they still worked at Google, and I already quit Google, and I was working on my own private startup. And I went to Google to have lunch, and those guys told me about Bitcoin, and that they found it interesting, and so in 2011, I started Bitcoin mining operation. So Bitcoin was worth maybe between 50 cents and a dollar, and then it was moving between $1 and $3 and back, and just like that.
And you are the one who saved your password, right? Or you lost it?
I did not lose my password, but
Oh my God, you're so lucky.
I gave all my Bitcoin away. I was buying pizzas and I was paying for lunches and just giving it as gifts to my friends. So I just
Really?
gave it
So
all.
like you actually can buy pizza or this kind of stuff? I thought it was just like a joke for like first
Uh,
timers.
the way that it worked is that imagine that me and two friends of mine would go to lunch, and then the lunch is over, and I owe them $30 for my portion, or we split the lunch, and then I tell them, hey, how about 3 Bitcoin? It's worth $10 each, so I'll give you 3 Bitcoin for lunch right now. And they're like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll give it. And so I
I hope
wouldn't, I
you
would,
hold it.
yeah, one of them actually held it until 6 months ago. Now he bought a house.
Oh my God, that's super cool. I
Yes,
love
he's
this kind of stories. Like, how's the life changing of people?
Yeah, he said that he just kept the 5 Bitcoins that I gave him, and and then he sold it at, I think it was $50,000 per Bitcoin, and bought a
That's
house.
cool. Oh my God.
So he literally had lunch with me, and it financed his real estate
Future.
dreams. Yeah.
I was actually talking with my friends. So I was like, hey, I really wish I could like go back when it's for 2010 and start to mine Bitcoin and like, oh, I wish. But then I was thought like, Hannah, if you were mining Bitcoin, are you gonna hold for 10 years? Probably not. It's like the same we're talking about XEN with my friends. And one of my friends, they're telling like XEN probably gonna be like something like a Bitcoin in a 10 years. But like then I'm starting like, oh my god, it's 10 years. What, I have to wait for 10 years? So many things gonna happen in 10 years. So probably like when I'm talking like this, probably is gonna be that huge, right? But who is gonna really wait? So this is the thing. Probably we all people thinking that we want to be there, but if you will be holding till now, it's the big question, right?
Yeah, I mean, in retrospect, mining was interesting, and I was just really curious how I can create cryptocurrency out of nothing, because it didn't exist before, and I was the one actually that mined it. So that's just super cool. And but in retrospect, I would say buying Bitcoin for $1 would have been a more efficient way to acquire it, because the spending money on electricity and then time, it just takes longer, and ultimately you make less than if you were to just to buy it for $1. So that's what I would say.
So from that time you start to thinking about Xen, or there is something that came to your mind like these days, this year? Like when do you start? When this idea happened to you?
Well, this idea uh, is fairly new, so to speak, and it really comes from the fact that the crypto market has somewhat matured, and there were a lot of projects that were created outside of the scope of the real reason why crypto was created. So, crypto was created to equalize the playing field for all people. No matter if you're a big guy, a little guy, you can get some of it. Now, with Bitcoin, it's very, very hard to do. Even if you buy a little bit of Bitcoin, you probably know that there's many whales out there that are holding a ton of Bitcoin, and they can manipulate the price. And also, Bitcoin is, I would say, even though it's one of the first, it's still fairly centralized. It's in the hands of just maybe 1% of the world's population. Um, Crypto overall is in the hands of 5% of the world's population. So the biggest problem in crypto is the 95% of people do not even understand crypto. They don't know how to use their wallets. They don't know what exists, how to be safe. So Zen was conceived as a solution to introduce safe cryptocurrency to people that you do not need to buy. You can buy it if you want, it's an option. But ultimately, if you can mint Zen for yourself, it will take you as close as possible to Bitcoin mining. So it's very similar to Bitcoin mining, except you're not mining with electricity, you're mining with time, and you're mining with your wallets. So it's not really proof of work, it's not really proof of stake, but it is proof of time and proof of participation, because the smart contract uh, that runs Zen requires you not only to initiate the mint but also come back and get it. If you do not come back to get your Zen, then it just disappears. So you
Yeah,
have
it
to
happened to me once.
oh, it did. Yeah, you waited
Yes.
long, you waited longer than the 7 days, and it became nothing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so proof of participation requires real participation. So which means you have to come back and get it. Otherwise, it just never gets minted, which is pretty interesting in itself. So 7 days. But if you're late just a couple of days, 1 or 2, it's only maybe up to 5% penalty. But if you wait until 7 days, that's 99% penalty.
I think the idea is super cool. I mean, I love this. This is a crypto for everyone. This what like makes me feel really cool because I agree, totally agree about you. Like Bitcoin is it decentralized, but like there is already people who are buying this and holding this, like, and they manipulating actually the market. I agree on that. But what are you thinking? Like Bitcoin, it is in the hand of the people, but XEN, the difference between Bitcoin and XEN, it's how to say that. limitless emission, right? So what do you think? Why did you decided to do unlimited emission?
Actually, this is the biggest misconception, and I think statisticians and mathematicians and financial people, they understand where the misconception is. So Bitcoin inflates. It inflates still, even now, but it has a limit of 21 million Bitcoin. But it's also limited by time. So, in other words, you do not reach the limit of Bitcoin tomorrow or the next year. You're going to reach it after so many years. So, the contract or the programming runs the timer, so to speak. Now, Zen also has a timer, and this timer is about 8 years. Now, after 8 years, the emissions of Zen slow down to just few drops per day. And when I say few drops per day, we're talking about 10, 15, 30 Zen per day. Today, you're minting between 50 to 70,000 Zen per day. So imagine trillion of Zen available, and now it's only 10, 15, 30, maybe 50 Zen per day will be available per person per wallet after 8 years. That will actually make it completely irrelevant because the proportion of the new Zen created will be microscopic compared to the Zen that exists. So it is much better to actually not to continue to mint Zen right there, but stake it, because the staking function will produce more Zen for you, specifically 2%. So 2% is a standard, I would say, inflation rate that works well in every economic environment. So American inflation target for the United States is about 2%, and I think European is as well. Everybody wants inflation to be at 2%. Now, anything without inflation actually does not work very well because it doesn't give an opportunity for growth. Because the world's economy has to grow. And if the world's economy is growing, but the money supply isn't growing, then the money supply becomes unreasonably scarce and people will not be willing to spend it. Because if you think about it, like imagine Bitcoin. So Bitcoin keeps going up in price. Like even now at I guess $17,000 or $16,000, it's still much greater than 5 years ago. 5 years ago it was like 1,000, right? So it's 15 times more, and you will not be willing to sell it or to use it for anything in the world. You just want to hold it as investment. So Zen is designed to inflate together with the world's growth. So when the world's economy is growing, the target of growth is about 2 to 3%. And if you look at the GDPs around the world, gross domestic product, 2 to 3% is reasonable. And so we want Zen to be stable, growing together with the world's economy. And that is how you will be able to use Zen as a functional cryptocurrency to buy and sell things, to pay for services, so on and so forth.
What do you think? How big should be the community so you can really use it in the real world?
Well, we know right now at 5% of the world's population, there are some cryptocurrencies are used for some things, but clearly not a lot. But I think 20%, 15 or 20% would be a good amount of people to make Zen actually very, very functional. Right now, it's all fun and games, like so to speak. So people are minting Zen. It's kind of like a game, and then there will be Zen NFTs or NFTs that will consume Zen or burn Zen. That's also kind of like a game. So we're trying to build an economy that balances each other out. So Zen's emissions are, I would say, ultra inflationary. So the inflation rate is very high today. But with the release of NFTs, which is the first application built on top of Zen, Zen will be used as currency or cryptocurrency to actually generate more NFTs. So NFTs are rare and Zen is abundant. And the rarity and abundance together creates this sort of a balancing mechanism.
I really like your logic. I mean, like it's really nice listening to you.
Thank you.
Probably a lot of people was like, okay, there is something smart. He's saying something smart.
Well, it's because I speak slow enough, right? My mind is races so quick, and sometimes I just have to filter my thoughts down to the very very basic concepts so that even I can understand and I can build a foundation of my own personal understanding what exactly is that we're building. So I always have to
So
explain it to myself every day.
you think what is the big thing that actually give the Bitcoin that time the belief, like what was the thing that actually people start to believe in that, and actually you spend it for the pizza or for something? What was that? Why do you think it happened?
Well, I was practicing mining, and I knew that mining is difficult, and so difficulty creates value. So if
But I
something was
mean,
given,
IT guys doing something. I'm a regular person, for example. I don't care about how many days spend you writing the code, but writing a code is a time consuming, right? So it's the same with the mining. I think for most of the people, mining is like, okay, why should I sell you my pizza for that? Because you were mining.
well, I totally agree that obviously my friends were just a bunch of computer nerds. I mean, they knew what Bitcoin is. They knew that it's difficult to get, but the regular person would not have taken any Bitcoin from me just because.
So what do you think? But it happened. It happened one day. The regular person just start to take the Bitcoin, right? So what do you think? What was that?
Uh,
When? How much the community were there, if you remember, or what was this point that regular people start to take it and accepting that?
I think it's just the combination of marketing and greediness. So, I mean, people invest their money to make more money. There's no other explanation why people invest into anything. I mean, some maybe 1% of people actually invest into companies that they believe that can change the world for the better. That is true. But marketing is obviously plays a big part in it as well. So if you look at CNBC, which is a popular financial program, TV program in the United States, they actually they talk about crypto all the time, and they also show the ticker for the Bitcoin and Ethereum and even Dogecoin. So they're
Mhm.
exposing the world's population to cryptocurrency, and there's so much news happening that obviously everybody's asking, what is this cryptocurrency? Is this a way to make money fast? And then you go to YouTube and you type crypto in YouTube and you get all kinds of crypto influencers, and they're screaming at the top of their lungs how much money they're making, right? And how much money you could be making only if you figure out the proper formula. So it gets a lot of people involved and engaged. And in 2010, YouTube was not really that big of a thing. Now we have Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch. Twitch TV, and all of those channels are broadcasting information to you. You have crypto influencers that are specifically build their following on that subject, and so I think that is what's driving people to driving their curiosity about cryptocurrency and what can be done. But of course, the message is always the same: invest your money, make millions. And the question is, why would you be making millions? Well, it's because it's a new thing. It's a new crypto. It's a new currency. Dollars and euros, it's all trash because the governments is printing the dollars out of nothing, and where cryptocurrency is designed to be stable. So I think that is the message that people are getting, and that's why people are really curious about crypto. The problem with crypto world today is that 99.9% of all the projects are scams. There are scams where the teams are minting or creating cryptocurrency for themselves first, and then they try to sell it as an investment vehicle to someone else. Plain vanilla scam. Everyone does it. And Zen is doing it differently because we had no pre-minting of any kind. We have no way to change the contract, and we rely on the consensus mechanism of Ethereum blockchain to tell the truth. So you don't have to trust me. So I could potentially be making a mistake and telling you a lie. But if you look at the code, you can see that the code is the truth, and it's impossible to change the code. And so that is our message. The code is law. There is no administrative keys, and you can see it inside the code. And there was no creation of Zen before the community created it. So the really interesting thing about Zen is that Zen did not exist until the first member of community made Zen possible, and then everybody else made Zen possible, but not the founders. And that's what makes it special. Very similar to Bitcoin, actually. Well,
Yeah, I'm
Bitcoin.
asking about Bitcoin just because I think it's very similar to this, like the previous Bitcoin, what it was starting from. So that's why I'm asking a lot of questions, because like, okay, what do you think can make Bitcoin that? Because it probably makes the same thing for Xen. It's probably gonna work for Xen as well. So it probably, this is what we're gonna do, right? If you say marketing, then the market, who did marketing previously? Probably the community. Probably it was community driven. It wasn't like the money was like just given to the influencers to shoot about Bitcoin.
Well, I would say that the world's population are the best marketers. So when you create cryptocurrency for everyone, for the people start talking. And that is the biggest force in the world rather than some sort of channels that you watch on TV or even YouTube. So ultimately it is the community that creates marketing for something, and marketing creates value. And I would say that the value is really linked to the size of the community, because if you think about it, neither money, which is paper money, or dollars in your bank account, or any cryptocurrency that you hold have any value unless somebody else on the other side agrees that it has value. So if you and I were on an island and there was no electricity and no internet and you had some cryptocurrency, what would it be worth? Probably nothing, because you couldn't do anything about it. But at the same time, if you had a bag of US dollars, we could probably use it to build a fire. But there's nothing you can do with paper on an island that doesn't have any services. So we have to agree that it is the people that give the value to something that you hold in your pocket, like, so to speak.
Of course, even dollars. If no one believes in dollars, we cannot use it, right?
Right. So the value gets created by the belief in something that will have value, the agreement between two people or more in the world. And what we're trying to build is we're trying to build a globally reaching cryptocurrency available for anybody. So you could be in a village in Uruguay, and you could learn about MetaMask wallet, and you can start minting Zen for half a cent on a Phantom network. So Phantom network is very inexpensive, and also Polygon network is also very inexpensive. Binance is inexpensive. Ethereum is expensive, but you have a choice. We exist on 10 different networks today, and we just recently launched on the OKX blockchain. And when I say network, I mean blockchain. So on OKX, it's like 3 cents to start minting. Very easy to get this cryptocurrency, and I think the it only existed for about 50 days, and so far the community have grown to I would say 500,000 people now hold
Yeah,
Zen.
that's huge.
It's very huge, and I'm very proud of. Well, I guess I could say I'm proud of myself, but at the same time, I would say that it isn't really my invention. Satoshi came up with the concept, so Zen is just an implementation of his vision on the Ethereum EVM compatible blockchains.
Why don't you, or maybe you thought already about that? Why don't you create a own blockchain, Xen, and don't depend on anyone? Be like a Bitcoin.
Well, I don't depend on anyone by being on all the chains. So if we are on every chain, then we do not depend on any chain specifically. We just
But
we
then
just
the value, like, how do you think? This is actually very good question. Like, right now, the most of the people are minting on the Ethereum. That like they believe that and the prices on the Ethereum is growing constantly. Like sometimes it's growing, sometimes it's dropping. It's normally, but like you cannot do the price and the value. It's going to be the same on the old chains.
of
So
course
what
it's
is
not
your
it's not going to be
focus?
the same, but I would say that we have most people are on Binance chain. So Binance chain has the most activity and most users. But OKX now is coming up higher.
Maybe it's my just beliefs, but I just think like something that created on Ethereum probably has more value than on the Binance or anything else.
Because,
But what?
because it's more difficult to make, because the Ethereum gas is the most expensive. That is true.
So what do you think? Like what do you think? Like which SAN on which network probably has the more value in the 5 years?
It will have the most value if it's measured by the number of people. So like it's measured by the person's presence. So Zen itself is not worth anything, but the person who minted Zen is worth a lot. So if you take all the people together And let's make this thought experiment for just a second. Let's say that on Ethereum network, Zen reaches 100,000 holders, just for the sake of argument. On Binance, it goes and reaches 100 million holders. And again,
I
those
mean, of
numbers are
course, it's obviously, yeah. Okay, I understand
so
your
so,
concept.
so what happens is that there's less Zen on Ethereum, it's worth more, but there aren't that many people that have it. Now, Zen on Binance could be 100 million people, and it could be worth 1,000 times less. But when you combine those people together and they're building things together, they will end up building utilities in things with Zen that will actually have more value than on Ethereum. So Ethereum could become like a digital gold that nobody wants to spend. But on Binance, it could actually give rise to the economy. So the economy itself is worth a lot more than an element, something like gold. So
So
that is
this,
the way I
like,
think about it.
this is the way. This is why you are launching that on every chain.
Yes, because every chain have people. And imagine if you're on Binance and you're
You're
minting on
gonna cover it
Binance.
all.
That's
Love
right.
it.
World domination. That's right. Yeah, well, we want Zen to
I
be
like your. I like this way.
we're dominating with the best, safest cryptocurrency that's available for anybody. So this is type of what I would call benevolent domination. Benevolent means that we have no way to stop it. We're just letting people know that it exists, and then people can do whatever they want with it. So we have no control. We only have a voice, but that voice does not control the outcome. The outcome is driven by the people themselves. And I think that is why we have so much positivity around the project, is because people believe in themselves. They believe in the message. They believe that together people can do something great, not some Web3 team creating something great. It's actually really given to the people to do anything they want with.
So you don't planning to launch any blockchain, your own blockchain?
Yeah, but why would I do that? If I launch a blockchain, it would be like one of the other blockchains out there. It doesn't really, I mean, the only reason for me to launch a blockchain is to launch it as a development environment where people can build
No, no,
things.
you can launch a blockchain just for XEN, like a Bitcoin. Nothing else can be launched there,
Sure,
right?
but there needs to be a reason to do it. So the only reason that I can see is the development of the ecosystem for Zen on a blockchain that uses Zen as gas, for example. And gas is obviously needed to secure a blockchain. And so if that blockchain ever gets launched, it would be it would be like a directory for the Zen project. So every Zen project will probably exist on that blockchain. But at this point, right now, the biggest benefit is just to give it to the people on every blockchain rather than building your own blockchain.
Okay, makes sense. I
Because
think I have a. I think I have a question
okay,
that everyone is interested in, uh, and I'm gonna that one who asked that. So
yes, you will be.
besides besides creating the really cool cryptocurrency for everyone, crypto like free crypto for everyone, I mean, it's taking your time, right? You're spending your time. You're spending all your emotions. You are there right now. Even now, you're broadcasting from Hawaii, not enjoying your like day with your family.
It's
But
raining. It's raining.
okay, besides that, how do you earn? How do you
Earn
make
what?
money?
Earn what?
How do you make money from it? Like, how do you make your living? You still have to. You're not like just doing that for free, right?
If you have the world, why would you need money?
Okay, okay, Jack. Just to be honest, like we all need Starbucks coffee. We all need everything. But I mean, it's just I think it's everyone is interested. And I was like, I was actually digging into it. It's free token. Everyone can get it. It's different blockchains. The blockchains make money from your commission. Maybe like so how do you make money? Why you are spending all of this time and probably going to spend more time 10 years, 5 years, 10 years. So what is the
So
except creating
so
something really cool and be like famous about because of it?
okay, so why do painters and artists exist?
They also make money. They love it. But okay, we're not talking about the poor artist.
No, they
But
don't have to be. They don't
sometimes
have
there
to
is
be
an artist
poor.
who is like, I love it. I was an actress before, you know? And
Okay.
in the beginning, it was cool for me. I was acting for free. Even now, right now, I'm doing my YouTube for free because I love it. But I still have to buy houses, apartments, right? I still have to make my living.
Right. So there is, I guess, uh, people become who they want to become because they love those things about themselves, like, so to speak. They want to be artists. They want to be musicians, and they also know that they're not gonna make much money with it, and yet they become artists and musicians. And then, of course, there's somebody who wants to become a doctor, and somebody becomes a lawyer, and maybe a CEO or an inventor, whatever. So Nikola Tesla, for example, invented amazing things, and he didn't really do it for the money. Everybody else did it for the money, but he did it for the world. So he's a very inspiring individual, and he came up with the alternative current, and pretty much everything that runs with electricity is his inventions. Elon Musk had $300 million when he sold PayPal. He spent all of it to design Tesla and rockets that land themselves. And he's giving internet to everybody with Starlink. And he will probably do a lot great many things. Now, there was a time in his life where he spent all of his $300 million and he slept in Larry Page's, Google's founder's house, because he couldn't pay rent. Now, why did he do it? He had the money and he spent it all. So there are certain things goes beyond the dollars and beyond the money. So, and we see that in people, and we see that in people we admire. So I thought for myself that I was very lucky to be at Google early. And so I made a little bit of money, relatively speaking. And so me, myself, and I and my family is pretty comfortable right now. I don't need to worry about making more money, but I want to spend my life developing something interesting and useful for the world. I'm not saying I'm going to become Elon Musk, but if I do 1/10 of what that person could do or is doing, then I would be very proud of my life well spent.
No, no, I totally agree that there is something in my life that we're gonna do for free. Like I'm recording myself, I just love it. I don't
Yeah.
make any money with it. But just
But
like so for you, Xen is just the project that follows your heart. This is your mission that you want to accomplish, but and you don't make anything from it, right?
well, I expect Zen to be amazing, so I am minting Zen myself. So
Okay, everyone, you listening to that?
yeah, I mean, but think about it. If I didn't believe in the project and I wouldn't mint it because
Yeah, of course.
I would consider it to be a waste of my time, then that would be kind of strange, right? So I do mint it. I mint Zen every weekend when the gas prices are low because I believe in the value. And so
So
I
you
think
minted on Ethereum, or where do you mint that?
I mint it on Ethereum, and the reason is because Ethereum has the lowest G rank. G rank is how many wallets have been so far in process of minting of Zen. So I think it's and also Ethereum has bigger population of, or actually bigger TVL, total value locked, which means it has a bigger economy than pretty much anything else. I'm not saying that Binance will not get there at some point, but if you look at the stats, you can see Ethereum is the most interesting, and most of the things could be developed on Ethereum. So I want to have my Zen on Ethereum right now. But I also played with Polygon and I played with Binance. I played with OKX. There's no reason not to do it there. But for me personally, I choose Ethereum just for the simplicity of it. It all looks the same to me. And so I don't mind committing to Ethereum because Ethereum is the biggest in terms of economic scale.
Mm-hmm. What about XEN NFT? What are you gonna sell it? Like you gonna everyone gonna buy it for Ethereum or XEN?
You do not buy
Just
ZenFT.
mint for free.
You mint ZenFT for free. However, you will be required to burn Zen to create it. So the
Now I understand.
rare
Mhm.
NFTs, you will require to burn a billion Zen or maybe even more. So there is 100 super rare NFTs that you will require to be burning. I think between $10,000 to $15,000. So if you're a crypto degen and you want to get into something rare, that is your chance. But you have to buy Zen first, or you have to have Zen by minting Zen. So our team does not get benefits from selling NFTs because we're not making NFTs. The contract, the code, the programming that we design makes NFTs, but it's the people that actually mint NFTs for themselves. But they have to participate. It's an extended level of participation from Zen. So you make Zen first, and then you use Zen to create something else.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. And what do you think is going to be, has some, like in the future, what is the utility for this NFT? Just like,
Well,
you can buy.
so part of the utility is that each NFT can actually run what we call bulk minting, or you can mint Zen with NFTs. So NFT will create more Zen for you in the future. So that's how it works. And of course, the rarity and the fact that there will be no more NFTs created like that makes it very interesting for collectors. And collectors make money on something that goes up in value. Now think about it. If 10,000 NFTs are created and there's no more, but Zen is continuously being created and Zen's value is going up based on the community size, the NFTs will also go up in value because the value of Zen and Zen NFTs are linked together by this economic connection, I would say.
How do you plan to develop the community? So right now, most of the people, I think it's US. What do you think? Like, did you see? Did you check?
Actually, US is pretty large, but China and Asia is not far behind. US is actually compared to the international community is smaller. So we have a lot of
They
Asian
probably
interest.
understand something, like a
Well,
Bitcoin. I think they were
well,
the first one to know
the
about Bitcoin.
Asian population and just Asian crypto infrastructure is about 3 to 4 or 5 years ahead of American. They actually understand crypto better, and
That's
so
true. Like when I first time came to America, most of the people just hate crypto. They were like, no, 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 crypto. I don't know what is this.
yeah, but the Asian population is really way ahead in crypto space. And I think one of the reasons is regulation. So American regulation is extremely restricting. So if you look at Coinbase, Coinbase does not look good. It is very difficult to use. It doesn't have any tools. And if you look at something like MEXC or KuCoin or Huobi or OKX or OKC, you can see that they have developed amazingly easy way to invest in crypto and also participate in various instruments. Like KuCoin has bots, the bots that trade for you based on, for example, you can capture volatility and have your cryptocurrency be sold and bought high and low based on the activity. So when the market is unstable, you can actually create more money just by capturing highs and lows of the jitterness of the crypto. And that's all done automatically. In KuCoin, I mean in Coinbase, there's nothing like that. Like impossible.
Yes, I want to ask you, like, what do you think? Why? And it's totally like when I came to US, I mean, I was living in China for 8 years. Then I was living in Dubai. There, like everything is super also like cool and nice. When I came to America, it was my dream when I was young. It's like America, oh my God, like I have to go there. And when I actually came, I disappoint some ways. So and I don't understand Americans, some people, especially I mean, I was in California, so I can say only talk about Californian people. A lot of people are super smart, super driven. I mean, the technology are creating that there. But why US is so down comparing to other countries? I mean, on development. I mean, restaurants not really developed. Everything like super simple, not beautiful. The service is really bad. Then it comes to the crypto as well. Like you see, this is this all these exchanges, all these solutions, right? Like or abroad. I'm so
Abroad.
sorry for my
Yeah.
abroad. Abroad, right? Everything is super developed, and in US, it's like Coinbase. with like
Yeah,
no utilities, no function. Like it's very boring, and I don't understand. All the like a lot of all the smart people going to US, but why in the US particular there is nothing developed?
because United States is very large and has a lot of people, and each state does a little bit something different. And if you ever been in Midwest, you could see that it's pretty much middle of nowhere, like literally. Like there's cornfields, and they grow potatoes, and they have tractors. They don't really care about those things. The middle of the U.S. is serving the coastal states. So East Coast, like New York, Washington, and Western states. Well, obviously California, Oregon, Washington, all of those states. Those are like separate countries. The middle, and they're trading with the states in the middle, with the Midwest, to get their food. And all of the development is happening like in San Francisco, and Los Angeles is more for entertainment, but New York is very advanced. So that's where I would say the real innovation is happening, but nothing's happening in the middle. So unfortunately, the middle, and just because America is just so large, it makes everything slow, because the laws and the regulations have to accommodate everybody. So you cannot just accommodate New York, Los Angeles, and San Francisco and neglect the people in the middle of the country. And so you want to make it fair. And if you compare it to Singapore, Singapore is a relatively small country compared to the United States. But it looks like things are more advanced in South Korea and Singapore, and so on and so forth. And that is why they have less problems to deal with, and they have more authoritarian governments. Like whatever they say and decide, it's done. And there's no time wasted on voting and consideration, and everybody's asking everybody's opinion. So that is one of the, I would say, there is positive in it, but there's definitely negative when it comes to the future development, design, and innovation. And also the United States has probably the most money. Like economically, it's number one economy. So something definitely works. And I think what's really happening is that America is letting other countries experiment with things, and to see if it works there, that maybe it will work in America too. So it's
Yeah, I understand your point, of course, but then because it's the largest country, then they can come up with idea how to make things quickly, right? Not just listening to every state. So this is make me a little bit, but it's okay. This is not actually the crypto question. It's like
well,
more
it's
about.
related. It's related to crypto, because crypto has to grow, and I'm really curious to see how Asian countries are growing faster. So, like in Singapore, 10% of people understand and use crypto. In America, it's like 2%.
Yes, yes,
Five
yes.
five times the 5 times the difference. So the question then, what should America do in terms of regulations not to miss the boat, so to speak? Like if all of these smart minds go to Singapore or to Asia because they're treated there better, then what will become of United States? So United States have to be very careful not to miss the opportunity for development.
Another interesting question I want to ask you, like, do you planning to take a part? Like, as I understand, XEN is a crypto is a community driven, right? So probably it should just develop itself. Like the people will love it, the people will know about it, and just we're starting to be here, right? So, but do you plan actually to participating in community growth to really spend a lot of value, like probably hire some influencers, or you want it goes like naturally, organically?
Well, it's very attractive to grow something organically for sure. But at the same time, our foundation, Fair Crypto Foundation, could raise money for the future development of Zen, and then make everybody get an ability to develop more things by us sponsoring them. So it's definitely possible.
So you're planning to do that?
I think it's a reasonable thing to do. So every successful
It's talking like a
foundation,
politician. Like I talk, and then, but in the end, there is no yes or no. Tell me,
well,
please, are you
well,
planning or
well,
not?
okay, well, I can tell you yes, but are you satisfied with a simple yes? So I think you need to know the reasons behind it. I think every successful project has to have some sort of a treasury and some sort of a backbone that supports the movement. And I think it's up to the people to decide how much money they're willing to co-invest in the development. Because if you're holding a million Zen or 10 or 100 million Zen, would it make sense for you to spend 1% on development of the ecosystem so that your Zen that you hold can actually go up in value? Potentially it makes sense to do it. So sponsoring of the growth of the crypto ecosystem that Zen exists in actually makes sense to be organized. So an organic community is fine, but if everything is disorganized and we will be looking at things to see, okay, it kind of works, but we don't care how it works. I mean, we clearly do care, and I think a lot of people do care. So people that care get together, and we have a lot of amazing people right now on our Telegram channel. We have an admin group that's currently working to making our community better and helping people with education. So definitely being structured is important. Money is important too, and I think ultimately it makes sense to be paid for the effort that you create. But right now it's mostly volunteering effort, so everybody's volunteering their time, which is great.
Oh, really? So if, for example, somebody from the community want to say, I want to be an admin, like in the future, are you gonna pay to them? Or right now it's all volunteering?
Well, I think right now it's all volunteering, but if somebody wants to raise money to create some sort of an event, like for example, Zen World in Las Vegas, like we'll have to rent space to invite everybody and to invite interesting speakers and to talk about things. So those speakers and those venues have to be paid. So somehow the organization, even if it's nonprofit, have to make it work. So because airplane tickets are not cheap, rent is not cheap, food's not cheap. So getting people together will require some sort of investment. And I think if the community invests in itself, that is the best way to invest.
Mm-hmm. I have interesting question, of course.
Aren't they?
Uh,
Aren't they all interesting?
they're all interesting. They're super exciting, but they're becoming more interesting.
Even more interesting. Okay.
So right now, of course, it's obviously people who are minting Sen. I mean, there is of course some people who like, no, I will hold for 10 years, no selling, nothing. But right now, mostly people are getting that and selling that. So right now, the Sen price is going down. Why do you think it's gonna grow in the future?
The function of Zen's value is the relationship of the community size to Zen's creation capability. So if the people coming in to use Zen for something, if that number is greater than the amount of that Zen is created, then the value in dollars will move up. But also, here's a very simple fact: if Ethereum gas prices move to 200 GUI, what do you think will happen to Zen? Nobody will be minting it because it's going to cost you. And let me tell you the real numbers. At 10 GUI on Ethereum, it's $3 per wallet. At 200 GUI, which we had last year, so that's what, 20 times? 20 times times 3. That's $60 per wallet. Okay, so let's say that you're minting Zen for $60 per wallet. What will it do to the value of Zen? It will go about 20 times. Simply because that you as a user or participant who have minted Zen for $60 and not $3 will not be willing to sell it for less than 70, right? Because the cost of mint is now 20 times more, and that has nothing to do with Zen itself. It has everything to do with the cost of Ethereum. Now let's say that the Ethereum price stays the same, but the US dollars all of a sudden are inflating. So in other words, the inflation is hitting all-time high and there's many more dollars or fiat currencies floating around. Now the cost of blockchain in dollars or in fiat is also going to increase. So that will make gas more expensive in fiat currency, which will make Zen more expensive in fiat currency. So that is one way. It's very kind of simple to assume that the Zen's value is actually based on the economic conditions within the blockchain as well as within the world. So the blockchain itself may not scale as fast as we want, so it becomes very, very expensive. It becomes, well, we know that Ethereum is deflationary. Like, have you seen that the number of Ethereum tokens is actually slowing down? There's actually less Ethereum available than it was 70 days ago. So that's happening because of the Ethereum burn. And Zen has started that burn. So every weekend, people use gas to burn more Ethereum. And that makes Ethereum more expensive, which makes gas more expensive, which makes Zen more valuable, which brings more people to Zen, which will actually create more burn, which and the cycle repeats itself. So it's
Or
like
maybe, or maybe it's just a nice idea. Uh, it can be really valuable in real world. I can buy something with it. So instead of just mint and waiting for like half a year, I just can buy it from the market. So probably if you create the value, real value in the real world, then the people start to bind it instead of just maintenance and just.
absolutely, absolutely right. So how does the price go up? So right now it's five zeros and eight. But if the gas prices spike, then value will immediately adjust higher because people will be wanting to buy it rather than to mint it. And that's the truth. That's the economic truth. Now, when FTX news came out and everybody wanted to sell everything that FTX had, the Ethereum gas prices went to 250 Gwei. No, actually, it went to 600 Gwei. What happened to Zen? Zen actually rallied. So all cryptocurrency fell except Zen. Zen went up in price 8 times, which is amazing because it's linked to the gas price. So when the gas price moves up, Zen becomes deflationary, and therefore people want to buy it to create equilibrium between the gas spent and the purchasing power of Zen or value of Zen.
Are you planning to invite some celebrities, like top one celebrities to promote Zen?
I just invited one. Aren't you a celebrity?
Oh, thank you. Okay, I have nothing to say. Sorry.
that was not rehearsed, was it?
No, no question right now. Okay.
not to, not not to
Actually,
put you
I
on the
just forgot.
not to put you on the spot, but
I
but
just forgot
hey.
my next question because of that.
I mean, listen, this is actually a valid question. Inviting celebrities, I think they're going to be talking about it themselves. Once Zen becomes mainstream cryptocurrency, it will be unavoidable. I mean, didn't you say one of your friends is like talking about Zen nonstop and telling everybody, and that's in Dubai, right?
Yes, he is. Right now, he is in Dubai, and he's all of his friends. He's like, "You should do it. You should do it. You should mint." And just everyone fell in love, and he's passionate. So that's why they're
Yeah,
spending money just minting that.
right. So, have you seen how many Telegram channels Zen has? It has like 35 different Telegram channels in every language: Japan, Indonesia, Russia, Ukraine, uh, Poland, Czech Republic. It's incredible. They all talk about Zen in all different languages, and the community is coming together internationally, and that's what's so exciting about it. So you don't really need influencers with that. You have the people, and again, if you have the world, what does it matter? Like if you have the money or you have the influencers, we will be the world that crypto was meant to create.
I mean, really, the only one thing which is matters, it can be applicable for everything. It's just the people who believes it. We believes in dollar, dollar is good. We believes in some, I don't know, like some celebrity, everyone will believe, so this celebrity is just like 1 million for one tweet. So it's just one concept. People believe, it become popular. So people who are like your community, they have, you guys, you have to just make it work. You have to talk about this for everyone and everywhere, because people are like influencing people Only people can create things big or small. Only
Exactly.
people.
Exactly right.
So there is nothing else matters actually in this world. Just the people. So if you are here, more probably, and I'm gonna tell this my community as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, just
So
just
Elon,
support. If you
yeah,
support, then
it's number one thing that connects us all is ourselves. Now, Elon Musk bought Twitter just recently. Why do you think he did that? It's not because he just loves talking to people.
I mean,
Like,
I love Elon Musk. Really, in my deep heart, I mean, not like as a man. I don't know he was a man. I mean, I just admire. But I think the reason why he bought the Twitter, don't you think, just because he just wanna, to say that, uh, sell his Tesla shares, but he just cannot do it like really openly. Selling all my shares, but he's giving like, oh, I have to buy Twitter. That's why I need to sell a little bit of Tesla, and he's doing it just really smart. I mean, he is like the smartest guy. He's manipulating this market so smart.
well, yes, and I would say it could have been the truth, except Tesla is now trading at 60% discount. So it's if he is doing money creation by selling his shares, he chose the wrong time. And also, Twitter had a lot of problems, and he's trying to solve those problems right now. But I think he's really a people's person. I mean, he didn't have to create another car company. We had plenty of cars, and he didn't have to create rockets that potentially could fly us to Mars or anywhere else. Like, he didn't have to do it. He could have just spent his time in Hawaii, drinking margaritas and, eating potato chips, whatever it is that he likes. But he slept in a factory. Like, I was reading an interview with him where he slept on the floor, and he would wake up and he would smell like metal dust. Like, that's the guy who is one of the richest persons on the planet. Like, why does he do that? So it's not about the money for him, it's about the people. And I think he sees Twitter as this platform that allows everybody to speak their mind. It's even better than Facebook, I would say, because you can interact with the person without being connected to the person firstly. And you can get access to the mind share of information that exists on our planet. And I think in practical terms, he's probably going to bring payments to Twitter, where you will be able to send money. Maybe it's cryptocurrency. Maybe he's going to choose Dogecoin to have people send money to each other with the tweets.
Let
That would
him
be real.
choose Xen. Find him. You have a mission right now to find him and let him believe as a sick to Xen and just nothing else.
Well, that is why we created the cryptocurrency for the people, is that anybody could use it, and it's available for anybody. And if Twitter in the future uses Zen, I would be very happy. And by the way, I worked with Twitter before. So when I ran imagehack.com, we served and actually had a backend designed for Twitter images. So any images you would load on Twitter would actually go to our servers. So
But I
for
just think that Doge is his coin. That's why he's gonna use Doge. Ah.
I mean, I think when you listen to his interviews about Doge, he actually literally says that Doge is people's coin. And I think Doge was created in this really light-hearted manner where you don't have to spend a lot of money mining anything. And it's very, very low in price, and people feel like they can afford it. So I think Doge has definitely been. So the inspiration for Zen definitely came from Doge, but I added the Bitcoin DNA into it so that it actually becomes interesting in a way that it connects people. So did you know, by the way, is that if you start minting Zen and you invite your friends to mint Zen, you actually make more Zen. So
Yeah, I know.
it has a social
That's
algorithm,
why. That's why my friend invited me.
right? So whoever is minting Zen today, if they invite everyone else to mint with you and the network grows, you actually make more Zen every day. So that's the social
Would be
aspect.
cool if I can get also from my friends' friends. Then somebody invites Elon and then just become rich.
Yeah, we can dream, right? Yeah, but we dream
Why?
of
Why dream? No, just find him. Let's go to his office.
Yeah. I doesn't he have like probably security? They're gonna shoot me on site. He probably has a lot of people approaching him, right? So you have to be careful. But hey,
I
I mean,
mean,
he loves everything X. Did you see like SpaceX with an X at the end and X.com? Didn't he
yeah.
talk about X app, everything X? Zen starts with an X. So
Hmm.
could work, right?
Yes, good work. I have an artist. She was drawing for us an NFTs from my previous project, and she was just a regular girl, and she was just posting on Twitter regularly. And once Madonna noticed her, so
Oh
I
yeah,
think if somebody is gonna draw something to Elon Musk and just like wait for his comments until he's just posted a post and you first one who replied, then probably he's gonna notice you.
maybe. I
I
think he
mean, if
probably.
he tweets by himself, I don't know. Like we never know what happening actually there. Maybe he's like, I don't know. We don't know.
So, so I think he actually already noticed us for sure, and one of the reasons why he did is that if he's paying attention to cryptocurrency at all, and he looks at the Ethereum burn that we created. So, and by the way, this is something that you can look at. You can look in ultrasound money. So let's see if I can share the screen real quick. Ultrasound money is a pretty good website. It shows you exactly what's happening with the Ethereum transactions and what transactions are burning money. So there we go. I found it. Boom.
You know that you can actually make an agreement with Ethereum so they can pay you from the commission you spent on Ethereum.
You mean Ethereum validators?
I know there is some of the projects that I know, they actually were partnering with Ethereum, so like they can split the commission to them, and probably this is can be money that you earned and spent on developing the community.
So take a look on the screen. I don't know if it's clear enough, but right there at the top, it's October 8th. That's when Zen has launched. And what this is Ethereum supply. So the Ethereum was used to grow, and you can see that it's been growing. And then all of a sudden, it dropped right here, is when Zen launched. Now, this drop right here, the second one, is FTX. So when FTX, people have freaked out and start selling everything that actually burned more Ethereum. And right here, you can see that since merge, since Ethereum became 2.0, proof of stake Ethereum, actually 3,500 Ethereum has been burned. Now, if we look at the popularity of the all of the projects that are burning more Ethereum, so you can see right here, look at this. So you see this coin tool, it says Zen Batch Minter. We're number one. We're number one in total activity of Zen burned. So you can definitely see that there's CoinTool Zen Batch Minter here. Then there's Zen Crypto right there. And then there's Zen Crypto here too. So if you add them together, so 60 plus 30 is 90 plus another 113. So let's call it 200, 200 ETH, 200 ETH in 24 hours. In terms of dollars, we're talking about $200,000 burned on gas just to create more Zen. So that's significant. And we're running this every weekend. So every weekend we're number one on a burn leaderboard, which is amazing. So anyway, ultrasound money. Ultrasound.money is a good website to look at. And so what I'm saying is that if Elon was looking at Ethereum, he could have probably seen that obviously there's something strange happening to Ethereum. Who is on the leaderboard and why? And I think who is on the leaderboard is Fair Crypto, Zen.
Oh, yes, it's very interesting, Jack. Very interesting talk. I mean, I don't even gonna ask you about the price because you probably don't know. But what do you think gonna happen in 5 years? How do you see? Like, what do you really feel, and what do you plan? What do you think gonna happen with Zen in 5 years?
I think it's going to be very similar to Doge. So if you look at Doge release and what it was 5 years after it started, you could probably see what the value was. And this is something that we can easily look up. It has very similar mechanics, but it has more of the community engagement elements, and it has a better story. Zen did this, has better story than Doge, I believe. And so, but if we look at the Doge gains over the years, you can pretty much would say, uh, you could argue that you could make 1,000 times the investment, and it is impossible to know for sure. So that's why it's good to look at history, because history does not repeat itself, but it definitely rhymes. Rhymes meaning is that it mimics what happens in the past. So it is possible that the value in 5 years is going to be, you know, quite amazing. But it all depends on the people and depends on what we do and what we come up with. So Zen NFTs is definitely one of the interesting things that could burn a lot of Zen and could make Zen deflationary. So right now Zen is inflationary. It's just crossed 500 billion Zen on Ethereum. But if we release NFTs that will burn all of it, then it will not be available. Now, some people will not be willing to sell Zen, but they will be willing to sell Zen for $1. So it could immediately go up to $1 and stay there for a bit and then eventually sell off. Who knows? Definitely possible.
If you're talking to the new person, like for example my community, what do you recommend to them? What to start? Like start to mint that Zen on every chain, or maybe just put their mind on some particular ones.
I would say definitely choose a chain that you love and you want to play with, if you, especially if you want to learn the chain. But at the same time, um, I would say, if you're interested in the best economic outcome, Ethereum is the king of uh, EVM ecosystem. So every weekend, I would say spend a little of money on gas and mint for as long as possible, 400 days plus, if possible. And I'm sure it is possible. It just matters that you have to wait a little bit longer. But the longer you wait, the more you make.
Oh wait, I think I just yes, I had this question when I was starting minting Zen. There is not possibilities to mint the Zen after 3 years. I mean, I was choosing the time, and there was just I think it's like 1 year, 1 year and a half, or maybe 2 years. It was a top.
No, you can
Why?
always you can the limit is 425 days, and that number is always growing. And when you say there's no possibility to increase the number of days. You're gonna have to start your mint over. But you can mint with many different wallets. So you can mint every weekend, and you can extend your weekly mint 425 days, so that you can have a ladder that it's still your MetaMask, but different wallets can have different time horizons.
Hmm.
So
Okay,
anyway,
Jack. It was very, very interesting. I hope you don't hate me after that. And
why
I
would I
hope
hate?
like I don't have this microphone, so I hope your people was not like irritating by her voice and her English. But
Should we speak some Russian maybe?
do you think they're gonna understand?
Нет, никто не будет нас
I mean,
понимать.
my
No.
people gonna understand.
Your people. What about my people?
My people happy to hear you in Russian.
Давай поговорим по-русски, скажем что-нибудь хорошее.
Давай, что?
Ну, спроси меня какой-нибудь вопрос по-русски.
А, ам, почему? Расскажи мне вот что вот действительно, и когда это у тебя случилось в сердце, когда ты захотел сделать ксен, и почему ты его захотел? Вот что такое случилось, что ты резко я хочу сделать ксен? Или я хочу сделать то, что будет называться ксеном?
Ну, конечно, это случилось после ковида. То есть, когда что мы видели, что цены на все крипто очень резко поднялось, и было видно, что практически ты можешь сделать все, что угодно, и сделать кучу денег, И что меня как бы немножко тревожило, что очень много скемов происходит именно на крипторынке, и люди не понимают, во что они входят, и в конце концов будет краш, который просто уничтожит крипто, скорее всего. И я решил в тот момент посмотреть именно, как крипто начиналось, посмотреть на так называемый Genesis, посмотреть, как начиналось биткоин. И я подумал, если краш действительно случится, и мы как бы сейчас в процессе краша, то люди будут, скорее всего, пытаться найти криптомонеты, именно те, которые настоящие крипто. И мы знаем, что биткоин это был настоящая крипто, именно было сделано так как бы правильным образом. И я подумал, почему бы не сделать что-то такое, то же самое на эфире, чтобы тоже работало и сделать очень хорошую как бы историю, как все это происходит. То есть Zen является как бы такой молекулой, которая соединяет весь мир и дает людям информацию о том именно, как биткоин был сначала сделан. И Zen в себе несет как бы месседж, информационный пакет, который именно рассказывает, что такое криптовалюта и что может быть с криптовалютой, и как правильно криптовалютой заниматься. Вот. И именно вот в тот момент, когда рынок, я уже видел, что он начинает падать, я просто решил, что как раз полезное время начать, как бы вернуться обратно в корни развития крипты.
И это тогда случилось. То есть ты как бы... А ты сейчас что-то делаешь уже помимо Ксены? Или ты сейчас полностью сфокусировался на нем?
Полностью сфокусирован на Зене, конечно, и сейчас работаем с NFTs. Мы хотим сделать очень полезную, удобную экосистему, которая показывает людям, что Zen действительно может быть использован в других интересных вещах. Но вот NFTs — это как бы первое приложение, которое дает возможность людям использовать свой Zen на что-то интересное и в совершенно другой форме.
Мгм. Но это на самом деле очень круто, да. Я понимаю тебя, почему ты хочешь это сделать. Мой муж в частности говорит, что я понимаю, зачем он хочет. Он долго думал, как он зарабатывает. Блин, как же он зарабатывает? Начал искать, короче, там подвохи всякие разные. Он так вдохновился тогда. А потом он говорит, слушай, ну я знаю, почему он его сделал. Он, наверное, хочет стать очень знаменитым человеком из-за этого.
Ну,
Просто
знаменитым быть полезно. И как я тебе раньше сказал, что если ты владеешь фокусом всего мира, то деньги, в общем-то, не нужны. Но это же можно сделать правильно. То есть не надо там завоевывать сознание людей каким-то неправильным образом, там, каким-нибудь там испугом или какой-нибудь силой. Можно всегда сделать это так, чтобы всем было отлично. Ну вот Сатоши
так и
это
так
сделал,
ну, Сатоши, ну, блин, вот я так люблю вот эти теории конспирологии, так скажем. И как бы
конспирология.
вроде бы есть Сатоши, а вроде бы кто это Сатоши? А вдруг это правительство создало, знаешь, ну типа под видом Сатоши. То есть как бы столько нюансов, которые мы с вами никогда, к сожалению, не узнаем.
Ну,
Что
я
на
сто
самом...
процентов уверен, что правительство не было участно в этом, потому что я видел, как это программирование было, source code какой-то был, как он был разработан. То есть это точно, это просто люди, фанаты Уильяма Гибсона, Cyberpunk community, Cypherpunk. Они просто решили сделать что-то интересное, знаешь, чтобы не дать возможность центральным банкам управлять какой-то системой. И вот они как бы добились этого, и это действительно возможно. Конечно, сейчас центральный банк смотрит на это и пытается управлять это экономическим путем. Допустим, Америка и все другие страны выпускают государственные стабильные криптовалюты, и, скорее всего, будет введен закон, который будет заставлять людей, чтобы входить в другие криптовалюты, сначала покупать государственные криптовалюты, чтобы можно было установить какой-нибудь трекинг, то есть возможность следить за людьми. Вот. Я думаю, поэтому сейчас, ну вот в Китае это точно уже было сделано, и сейчас очень многие другие государства тоже этим занимаются. Ну, потому что они видят, что они не могут это контролировать напрямым образом, следовательно, косвенным образом, выпуская государственную криптовалюту, у тебя будет какой-то контроль.
Слушай, ну и да, и нет. Мы же никогда все равно не узнаем, да? Потому что у меня были друзья, которые были в очень закрытой, скажем, конференции для очень закрытых людей. Я не буду говорить, о чем все там говорилось, но все идет к тому, что все очень, очень сильно зарегулируется.
Ну,
И
да, поэтому нужно составлять противостояние этому, давать людям возможность заниматься своими делами и, то есть, поддерживать как бы суверенитет индивидуала, человека.
то есть как ты будешь с этим бороться все-таки? Ты же хочешь, чтобы XEN был, наверное, токенов народов?
Ну,
Или если придут, скажут так, либо централизируйся, либо...
но я не могу ничего сделать, потому что Zen мне не принадлежит. А, Смарт-контракт живет в сети, которую я не контролирую. Они, скорее всего, к Виталику придут и скажут: «Слушай, отключи Zen, он всё портит». То есть ко мне идти не нужно, потому что я ничего не смогу сделать.
То есть ты вообще никак не имеешь доступа к смарт-контрактам больше?
Ноль
Ты не
доступа.
сможешь? Ну, в любом случае, любые программисты, когда пишут смарт-контракты, потому что мы разговаривали очень долго на тему FTX с программистами, и они говорят, в любом случае, я как программист всегда пишу какой-то входик, если что, войти.
Ну
В
да,
любом случае.
в этом случае это невозможно, но FTX я понимаю, потому что это была центральная организация, которая, ну, они работали как компания, конечно, им нужен был какой-то вход. Вот, но в нашем случае это то же самое, что биткоин. То есть Bitcoin Foundation может менять свой код. У нас код невозможно менять. То есть невозможно. Если его поменять, то контракт поменяет свой адрес. Вот. Но все будут знать, что это уже другой контракт. То есть тот контракт, который существует, который имеет всех этих людей, которые подключились к нему, эти люди именно дают, как бы, ну, они создают невозможность изменения. То есть если ты его поменяешь хоть как-то, это значит, что уже будет другой адрес, и никто туда не придет. Ну, или будет вопрос, почему Джек поменял контракт. Вот. Но это будет не тот же контракт. То есть старый контракт всегда останется. То есть любое государство, которое хочет его выключить, может иметь давление только на блокчейны. На меня давление... Даже если мне скажут, слушай, мы тебе там заплатим $1 миллиард, просто скажи, что Zen — это отстой, и вообще каким образом погаси энтузиазм людей, то люди, наоборот, будут думать, что меня кто-то купил или мне держат пистолет в голове и пытаются меня заставить это сказать. И будет еще больше интереса к Zen.
Вопрос. Всегда какие-нибудь, да, вот такого рода токены, даже сейчас, если посмотреть на Dogecoin, а, был хайп, сейчас этого хайпа нет. Какой бы он там действительно не был такой токеном комьюнити и все такое, да был SafeMoon, тоже огромнейший хайп, он исчез, все, как бы люди особо нет. Как ты будешь вот поддерживать и справляться с такими моментами, когда все равно хайп утихает?
Ты знаешь, это на самом деле это очень позитивно, потому что когда хайп гаснет, то все будут начинать минтить. Потому что если ты не покупаешь, ты минтишь. Если ты не минтишь, ты покупаешь.
Ну, ты можешь и продавать просто, типа минтить и продавать.
Пожалуйста, минти продаешь, но ты должен кому-то продать. То есть я вообще желаю того, чтобы Zen был довольно даже дешевле, чем он есть. Ну, я не могу этим манипулировать, но если он дешевле, это значит, что больше людей имеет доступ к Zen. Это полезно, потому что больше людей входит в комьюнити. С другой стороны, ты не можешь опустить ты не можешь опустить газ, потому что газ контролируется именно использованием блокчейна. Следовательно, ты не можешь опустить Zen очень низко.
Ну да, многие люди перестали продавать, потому что это было бы им в минус.
100%. То есть эта экосистема полностью завязана на функционал количества людей, а также использование блокчейна. Вот. То есть ни одна другая криптокурренси так не работает.
Так из-за все-таки на каком чине ты больше всего и видишь перспектив в таком случае? Потому что на БСК такого не получится на других чейнах. Там газ всегда медленный, маленький.
Да, но когда мы запустили их, газ поднялся в 100 раз тоже.
Да, но потом же этого не стало.
Не, 100%. Смотри, если газ ничего не стоит, вот, допустим, на OKX газ ничего не стоил, он стоил там одну сотую цента. И их заспамили очень сильно. То есть они там сделали 30 миллионов аккаунтов и сделали триллион Зена или 2 триллиона Зена прямо сразу же. и им пришлось повысить газ. Просто у них кончилась возможность обрабатывать все транзакции. Но с другой стороны, смотри, да, ты можешь сделать кучу зена очень быстро, но человек, который ждет своего зена, допустим, 400 дней, всегда выиграет. У него будет больше. То есть
Ну да, конечно.
даже если газ ничего не стоит. То есть по-любому
Так
время
потому что
стоит
надо тоже
денег.
ждать.
Знаешь, помнишь такое выражение «время– деньги»? Ну вот, зен– это деньги, а время– это время. И время– это количество времени, которое ты должен подождать.
Нет, ну бесспорно концепция крутая. Тут главное, вот как все равно все-таки, ну хоть как-то вот напоминать комьюнити все-таки, да, потому что кто-то тоже может такой, ой, сейчас я, короче, скопирую Джека и сделаю то же самое. Вот как ты с этим будешь бороться?
Подожди секундочку, я прочитал коммент. Кто-то сказал, что мы звучим, как будто течет вода.
Что?
Да, они пишут water sounds. Amazing water sounds. То есть мы говорим, это как будто как бы водопад. Но, конечно, когда мы говорим по-русски, мы говорим намного быстрее, и эти самые как бы звуки, они короче, и их больше. Поэтому кажется, что мы говорим, как будто журчит вода. По-английски я говорю очень медленно.
Я вообще ломат, у меня такой голос ужасный на английском.
Да, они еще пытаются сообразить вообще, откуда ты появилась и как на тебя выйти сейчас.
Да
Но
там
я
хейтов, ты такая блондинка,
не,
так,
слушай, никаких хейтов нет. Все очень, интересуются.
но у тебя, я тебе скажу, что комьюнити, оно капец. Тут одно просто я, да, это, я сколько раз я видела, да, каких-то разных комьюнити, ну, были плохие комментарии. Здесь вообще нет плохих комментариев.
Не, но когда смотрит, YouTube, конечно, комментариев плохих нет. То есть все плохие комментарии, они как бы все уже исчезли. Особенно после этого пампа Зена, когда Зен был, 5 нулей и 6 и попал на 5 и на 4 нуля и 6, практически там 10x. Все уже сразу же замолчали.
Что это был за памп? Расскажи, пожалуйста, это вы запампили, либо
Нет,
что
нет,
это было?
нет, нет, нет. Это был
Ну,
памп.
а кто кому вы?
Мы видели, что огромное количество азиатских стран включилось. То есть я даже показывал на "Ютубе", показывал свой Google Analytics, и там показано, что Китай просто горит. То есть количество людей увеличилось где-то в 10 раз на сайте.
Это из-за
Все
чего? Какая-то реклама была или что?
Ну, просто кто-то увидел в Китае, и какой-то большой инфлюенсер сделал видео, и все бросились покупать Zen. То есть количество покупок Зена каждый день было 50 миллионов.
Скажи по секрету, ты его купил,
Когда?
этого инфлюенсера?
Нет,
Ну
нет.
вот вообще сейчас есть хоть какие-то люди, которых вы реально покупаете рекламу? Ну как-то же надо поддерживать маркетинг.
Ноль, ноль покупок рекламы. Полный ноль. Мы не
Вообще
тратим.
ноль.
Вообще ноль. Мы ничего
За
не
счет
тратим.
чего такой рост? Ну, я тоже создавала токены, да, и
Но за
у нас
не,
тоже
ну
был
не, ну
огромный бум на одном токене, на втором токене. А я знаю, что люди, ну, это потому что там были в команде люди, которых там доверяют, знают. У тебя тоже есть свой комьюнити, я знаю, до того, как ты создавал XEN.
не, ну,
Ты
во-первых,
думаешь, что
история очень хорошая. История звучит очень хорошо. Даже для меня, если бы не я создавал Zen, я бы его точно купил бы.
подожди, смотри, я сейчас готова спасать мир, создам какой-то токен, реально вот такой же, но вряд ли у него будет такой же спрос, как твой. Я создам аналогичную историю, могу поспорить. И
М.
не будет такого спроса. В чем, почему такой сильный, за счет чего?
Ну, во-первых, потому что это неоспоримый факт, что я из Гугла. Я в Гугле был в первой двадцатке людей. То есть, когда люди смотрят, они видят, что ни один человек из Гугла ничего не сделал, ничего такого похожего. Конечно, людям это интересно.
То есть это из-за какого-то твоего уже имеющегося комьюнити, которое было в Твиттере.
У меня не было комьюнити в Твиттере вообще. Но когда я появился и стал об этом разговаривать, мое как бы резюме, мое досье показывает, что я не просто откуда-то совершенно неизвестный человек, а я довольно известный человек. Я работал с Твиттером раньше. Imagecheck.com номер 165 в мире как веб-сайт. То есть вся эта информация доступна. То есть вся моя история за последние 20 лет можно изучить онлайн. То есть можно меня погуглить и все это увидеть. То есть когда кто-то из как бы с таким опытом запускает что-то, люди, конечно, верят, что это пойдет. Но и с другой стороны, если это соединить с очень хорошей историей, это показывает, что история помножается на стаж, показывает, что комьюнити просто растет exponentially. Экспоненциально. Забыл это слово.
Ну, короче, это из-за того, что ты думаешь с твоего бэкграунда.
Ну, это точно имеет большую часть. Огромную
Слушай,
часть.
ну вот я отвечу в Твиттере. Я сейчас, вот давай я поспорю с тобой. Напишу в Твиттере, что я тоже гуглер там 22, и не знаю, там что-нибудь напишу хорошенькое, сделаю пару статей действительно про меня и запущу в Твиттере, но не будет
Но,
репостов.
но это же неправда. Я же говорю правду.
Ну, смотри, я человек, допустим, который тебя не встречала. Почему я должна тебе верить? Правильно? То же самое. Как бы
Нет,
человек просто, он же не знает правду еще до сих пор.
ну
Я
подожди.
сейчас хочу просто подкопаться, в чем пошло вот этот бум.
Не, но
Если вообще...
мир же знает правду. Ты можешь не знать правду, но мир-то знает.
Как ты высоко разговариваешь. Мир же знает правду.
Не, но опять же, посмотри на мой LinkedIn. Посмотри на мой Twitter, когда я в первый раз открыл свой Twitter аккаунт. 2010 год. Это у меня один из моих Twitter аккаунтов. Другой аккаунт был открыт, счет, в 2008 году. Twitter был запущен в 2007. То есть только смотря на этот факт, можно заметить, что я не просто человек, который появился ниоткуда. И в Гугле тоже все есть. То есть погугли Джек Левин Zen, и ты увидишь там огромное количество статей. Ну, люди это
Ладно,
видят.
переубедил. Как ты собираешься дальше хайповать? Ну, поддерживать. Но все равно это нужна какая-то поддержка, правильно?
Мне, в общем-то, не нужно хайповать, потому что комьюнити растет там 5000 человек в день, каждый день, и экспоненциально. То есть это все увеличивается очень быстро.
Ну, ты, конечно, вообще очень красиво говоришь. Ты меня немножко даже, я так скажем, я словила, как это называется? Фома. Даже я захотела сейчас пойти. А потому
Начать
что только
ментить.
мой муж целыми днями просто минтит. А я смотрю на него и просто смотрю, и все. Ну, как-то не было такой, надо идти, прям тратить время. Сейчас я фома словила, пообщавшись с тобой.
Fear of missing out. Но я тебе скажу, у тебя 8 лет, так что ты не пропустишь. Упустить это надо быть
Это был
очень-очень-очень
момент,
старательным.
который нужно запечатлеть в 8 лет. А почему именно 8 лет?
Потому что 8 — это в нумерологии цифра большого богатства и wealth,
Ага.
prosperity, номер 8.
Мгм.
Мгм.
Хорошо, 8 лет. Ну, блин, через 8 лет я уже
Не, ну тебе не надо
собираюсь там
ждать 8 лет. Тебе не надо ждать
не
8 лет.
париться о деньгах, как бы.
Не, самое главное — это строить новые системы на Зене. Это самое главное, я считаю.
Что ты имеешь под новыми системами?
Ну вот новые системы, допустим, кто-то может сделать новый NFT или новую игру, или какой-нибудь DeFi протокол или GameFi, который использует Zen. Вот представь себе, если World of Warcraft подключит
Ну,
к себе Zen.
как они зарабатывают? Люди же создают эти вещи, не все же такие филантропы, как ты. Но люди
Секундочку.
создают проекты многие, чтобы зарабатывать.
Давай я тебе объясню, как я это вижу. Представь себе, что в следующем году в Зене 200 миллионов человек. 200 миллионов в мире. На самом деле это не такая большая цифра. В имиджаке, в моей первой компании, было 60 миллионов людей только в первые 2 года. Использовали имиджак во всех странах. Now, с cryptocurrency мы видим, что охват мира происходит намного быстрее. Поэтому 200 миллионов может появиться очень быстро. Если ты, допустим, из компания, которая запускает игру, допустим, World of Warcraft, и ты хочешь запустить криптовалюту у себя в игре, и ты хочешь доступ к этим 200 миллионам людей с точки зрения просто маркетинга или рекламы, конечно, ты подключишь Zen в игре, потому что ты можешь сделать announcement и попросить нас сделать ретвит. И сразу же все люди, которые не играют в свою игру, начинают в нее играть. Now, ты как компания, которая пытается монетизировать свою игру, можешь монетизировать игру там на лицензиях, там еще на чем-нибудь, там на продаже каких-нибудь там вещей внутри игры. Это же все можно сделать. Но доступ к людям — это самое важное, что тебе нужно. И доступ к людям ты можешь получить через Zen. То, что Zen будет иметь там миллиард людей. Ну, представь себе, самая большая криптовалюта в мире
Я поняла.
по
I think we
количеству.
should translate this to English. Guys, you know what we were just talking about? We were just talking about that if some programmers here that launch some games and use Xen, it's gonna help Xen to populate, but it's gonna help your game because there is already a community on Xen. If you're creating your game or if you're creating any other product and using Xen, you immediately get in the community of Xen who is gonna use the Xen into your game. So you can monetize your game or anything else through the different resources, but also you can plus you creating the utility for Xen. Two, you get in the community from Xen. It sounds too perfect, Jack.
It is perfect. I have to say so myself. It is quite perfect.
Так, ну что, будем заканчивать?
Да, будем заканчивать. Кстати, можешь потом посмотреть комменты, которые прошли чат. Там у людей очень интересный чат. Вот смотри, я показываю. I need to learn this language. I don't understand what they're talking about. I need to up my game. That's right. Learn Russian. So we're just going through the chat, guys. Somebody says, no, we should switch to German. What is this one saying? That's the talk about Pulse chain. So the future blockchain.
What do you think? Actually, I want to ask you about something else, not about Xen. Sorry. What do you think about crypto market? What do you think? How long is this is gonna be? What do you think next 2 years gonna happen?
So I think it really depends on the global market conditions. So right now, the governments around the world, they're trying to make money more valuable by moving the interest rates higher. But so far, I think what's happening is that the inflation is actually calming down. So it is possible that there will be no crash. Like you can see that the markets have moved down rapidly, but now they're establishing some sort of a footing. So I think, I mean, I thought that by this time, Bitcoin would be less than $10,000, and Ethereum definitely would have been less than 1,000. But the markets are holding up quite well. So unless something terrible happens on a macroeconomic level, I think the market's going to continue to trade within the range between you know, this point and maybe plus 20%. But I think what Federal Reserve is doing is actually working. The cost of fuel and the cost of oil actually have dropped. I think we're under $90 per barrel right now for oil, and that has a very positive impact on inflation. So that's good for the markets for the future. And markets always look towards the future. So even things look the worst today, markets will assume that the worst is now and only good times are coming, which means that the market will start moving higher. It's kind of like strange like that.
Don't you think the crypto market gonna be like bear market 2.5 year or not?
I have no idea, but I'm definitely very much invested mentally, spiritually, and with my money too in crypto. So I
Tell
buy
me
Ethereum.
one thing. Where do you store your crypto? In a stable coin. Which stable coin?
I don't have any stable coins right now. I just have Ethereum.
If you would store in the stable coin, which stable coin you will choose?
I would store it in DAI, DAY, because it's the algorithmic.
Really, algorithmic one.
It's
But
it's
like,
not it's not truly algorithmic because it's not. I mean, it is connected to Ethereum, but it's also connected to Bitcoin. So wrap Bitcoin can produce a lot of DAI for you, and it's up to you how much DAI you want to borrow. So when you deposit uh, your uh, crypto like WBTC or wrapped Ethereum or just Ethereum, you're actually minting DAI for yourself, or somebody else is minting DAI for you. So there's definitely risk, but what happens is that the contracts liquidate the DAI contract, and but your DAI is not going to get liquidated. It will still remain. So while the crypto market is alive, DAI is probably the best stable coin to be in. I mean, USDC
And
is also reasonable, but
UST was also a good one, but then what happened with
well,
this one?
USDC is run by a company, and
No, I mean UST. UST. I said UST.
oh, UST. Well, UST, I never trusted it because you could definitely argue that if it gets very successful, it will be a target for attack, and for sure it was. So it got very very successful very very quickly. So Luna went from like $10 to $90 in a month, very rapidly, and it generated a lot of hype, attracted a lot of attention, and eventually got destroyed. So it got destroyed just by being very very successful in value very rapidly. And so you never should say that anything is stable when it's connected to something that is unstable, like Luna. And Luna was not stable. So being unstable actually means that you're rallying very hard and you can drop very hard. So you have a giant pump and then a giant dump. So you cannot say that something is stable based on this base cryptocurrency like Luna.
What about USDT? Are you thinking it's gonna scam or not? There is a lot of people here, I mean, in Ukraine, talking about USDT right now.
I think it's definitely could be a problem, but I hope not. I mean, I wish it wasn't the case. I wish they were more transparent with all of their holdings. Who
Because you
knows?
know what I noticed? I noticed like, I mean, Binance is dominating. Obviously, they want to just take the market. They want to just be like a central bank of all cryptocurrency. And but I noticed that all this year, like half a year, past a half a year, they were just so promoting BUSD, buzzed, and I started like, okay, maybe when you're so big, you can manipulate, you can do everything. Maybe they're just gonna do something with USDT, so people just gonna scare. Because 2 days ago, I was asking my friend, and he was like, "Anna, sell your USDT, sell your USDT." I said, like, selling what? And he's like, selling buzzed. There's probably not gonna happen anything in buzzed because they're too manipulating.
So here's the way to think out of the box for this. So when we say stable coin, it's stable against what? US dollar? But US dollar itself is not stable.
Yeah.
So when investing in anything or holding your currency in anything, like if you're holding your money in BUSD, USDT, USDC, or DAI, you're actually subject to inflation. And so your money is disappearing in its buying power. So by definition, as long as the fiat currency is one to one, has one to one relationship with a stable coin, you're actually always losing. The only time you're not losing is when the whole market is crashing. If the market is
But
some
why they don't talking about USDC? They talking only about USDT.
no, there's plenty of people talk
USDC
about
is also dollars.
USDT is non-American, non-audited company. Like they don't have the rights. I mean, they cannot be compelled to tell Americans what's backing USDT. Now, USDC is an American company that has financial documents exposed to the auditors. So in America, USDC appears to be uh, better just because it is audited by the American auditing companies. USDT is not the same. But again, those things notwithstanding, if it's pegged to a fiat, you will always be losing your money. So you may as well buy a house. Like keep your money in real estate if you want your money to actually have value. Or just
Okay.
buy Bitcoin or buy Ethereum, or just mint Zen. So I mean, you want to mint for the future, or you want to create something out of nothing for the future. And if you're looking at the community growing, then you're actually investing in the growth of the community too. So you're not just investing
But
in some currency.
But then another interesting thing that no one literally was saying that the Luna is gonna scam, right? Luna scam in one day. UST say no one says about UST is scam in one day.
But
FTX, no one was talking about FTX scam in one day, but everyone is talking about
okay,
USDT.
well, first of all, it's not a scam. FTX was not a scam, and Luna was not a scam. Luna was attacked, and
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm just saying not correctly, but you know what I mean.
yeah,
Like
unstable.
everyone they didn't expect, well, this is the right word, they didn't expect it's crashed, they didn't expect it's crashed, but everyone is expecting USDT is gonna go down.
Well, maybe that's the only one that's not going to go down then.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's something. If some manipulators want to change something, probably they're not gonna tell you, right? Because if they tell you every day, they telling you, oh, it's gonna scam, oh, it's gonna drop. They probably you have time to withdraw, but this is not their goal. Their goal is take your money, right?
right, right. Anyway, I think we should call it a night. I mean, at least for you, and I'm going to call it a morning for me because it's time to go have breakfast.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Oh my god, it's gonna be really hard for me to translate into the two languages for 2 hours, but
Well, at least 20 minutes of it you don't have to translate, right?
yeah. Thank you so much, Jack.
Thank you. Ending stream. Wait a second. Wait a second. Do I have an end stream function here? Yeah, there we go. End stream.